lovely peoples, and welcome to the TV show. This is the show where we cover the HBO program, The Leftovers. And welcome Joe Beretta to the show.
Yay, Joe Beretta!
Yeah, I'm here. Let's do
Joe watches the show, too.
I do watch the show. And right now I'm like, on it. It's like somewhere in the middle here. I'm trying to figure out where it's going to go.
Were you before last night and you're still
I think I've been kind of the whole time. I think it started off on a very hot foot and you're like, with the trailer. And then the first episode was good and you realized that everything in the trailer was in the first episode. And now it's where you're going with this guy.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the first...
Where are you going?
I felt like, how can they top the first episode? Because the first episode was so good. And then the second one was just kind of like, uh-oh. And then the third one was like, all right, I'm back. Because
the third one was very structurally different than the first two episodes.
Yeah, and I feel like it was almost like its own self-contained little short film.
It did feel like that.
It could have been, like, it didn't have to be part of The Leftovers. It's just, you know, the struggles of Christopher Eccleston's character.
Going forward with the series, what I'm hoping that they do, and I know that they won't because that would be too awesome, get away from the main family that we've been focusing on.
Like last night's episode.
Like with last night's episode, and start focusing on all the various people in the town, giving them all their own little episodes, and you see how they tie together as we go. And then maybe we get back to that main family.
See, I feel like that would bring it, again, too much into the Lost realm. Because Lost was all about, like, everyone crashed on the island, and then we got everyone's backstory, which isn't necessarily, like, bad, but, like, it's already so in the realm of Lost.
See, I didn't feel like that was a backstory that we just watched in episode 3, which we'll talk about in just a second. But what I'm saying, what I'm hoping for is that we do get a little bit more of an enrichment from the rest of the town, aside from this somewhat boring main character family so far.
And I think where Joe's going with that is like, so we've been given tidbits of the Guilty Remnant, tidbits of Holy Wayne, tidbits of what's going on with each of the family members, but not really the complete picture of any one person. Last night we were given the opportunity to get one person's complete picture. We now, as the audience, know everything
Preacher Matt
Jameson knows. And it's helping us figure it out, even though it's not about figuring out, it's about how these people are figuring out the aftermath. Like, I don't know about you guys, but last night, I didn't care about why people departed, really. I was caring about how they were dealing with it now.
I hope that's what they do with the show. They eventually start to get away from the, like, the mystery surrounding the vanishing, the disappearance of everybody. Because, I mean, it would be cool to get more about it. And by the way, something I've been thinking about since the first episode now, that I haven't mentioned yet, is... why haven't we seen, like, surveillance camera footage? Or like,
because we actually haven't seen a person disappear.
Right? Yes. Because if 2% of the world disappeared, someone was making a YouTube video with their friend and they disappeared on camera. Like, I want to see
No YouTubers were taken in the departure.
No YouTubers.
Not one.
No, but the Pope and Gary Busey were taken.
And some really bad people. Like we found out last night.
But I want to see, like, surveillance camera footage. Like, I want a first-hand account of someone that was in the car with someone when they disappeared and what they witnessed. You know, I want that.
They were there and then they weren't.
You know,
we did see that in the pilot.
And it might just be that simple that they don't need to dive into it that much. And I think that's the other reason that they're in a small town, is that there isn't a lot of security camera footage around. I think it's interesting to have this bubble, but what's interesting about the bubble and the cult that's happening in it and all the relationships within this small town is that I want to know what's happening in the rest of the world.
Yeah, me too.
Are these little cults?
Well, and we get that through the radio broadcast and the television broadcast.
Oh man, that TV thing where it was like, we can make a replica of your loved one to bury or cremate.
So creepy.
I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. It's like a Stephen King book
incredibly
now.
Human and not out of the realm of possibility.
No, definitely not.
Okay, so on to the episode. Episode 3, we're talking about Preacher Matt and how he's personally dealing in being in the world of religion when everybody departs and he doesn't go.
Right.
Which
and he
probably
doesn't
hurts
go
a little bit on the inside for him.
Yeah.
His people that are sitting in the pews, they're gone. His congregation's gone. His world has fallen apart inside of a world that's fallen apart. So how does somebody mentally deal with that?
And I love that he... What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that's exactly the motivation for his entire crusade of proving that the people that are the departed weren't necessarily all good people, because then that makes him feel better about his life choices. Right. Because if it really was the rapture and he didn't go, then
oh no, I dedicated my life.
I know. Why didn't I?
And
which is
am I wrong? Are my beliefs wrong?
Right. Yeah. Which is cool, because I love his crusade of trying to prove to people. I don't really.
He's trying to prove it to himself.
Well, yeah, it's true, but he also cares a lot about his church. And he wants that to fill those pews. And so the way that he's trying to do it is, I don't necessarily agree with his extremist way of going about it, but he's definitely trying to tell people that we need to stop thinking this was potentially the rapture. Because I don't think God had anything to do with it, because there's murderers
if he did,
and
I
rapists.
would have went too.
Yeah,
all these bad guys.
God and religion still matters. So
and it's like,
stay in church.
Right, and here's all these bad people that disappeared, and here's all the bad, so he's trying to prove to himself and others that, maybe we should stop considering it that it was God, and we need to bring religion back into our lives, and that's kind of his backstory.
Think how heavy the burden is for a man that puts 100% of his belief in something and believes that it is his job to spread that word and bring everybody else into his belief system. Imagine how heavy the burden is once everybody else doesn't believe anymore.
Yeah.
And he feels like it's all up to him.
Yeah, when he talks to that guy and he's like, if I don't, who will? Or whatever.
Makes you go crazy.
You just start to feel really bad for him, because, he gets knocked out by that guy. He deserved it. But then we get these kind of like moments of luck. He's gonna lose the church because he made a deal with the bank that he didn't have to pay the mortgage on the property, or he didn't have to pay for the property.
He's gonna lose the church because he doesn't have money.
He doesn't have money, and you can see that he's penny pinching, and he doesn't have money, and so. For some, he goes to this casino trying to find more information on someone he wants to make a flyer out of, and then all of a sudden, there's this
birds on the table.
Well, he saw the pigeon when he opened the door too. There was like a pigeon on his stoop.
Pigeons are the animals that we're focusing on in this episode.
Right.
Yeah, at Bat's prodigal son says, what was up with the pigeons? Who gave that sign? And the suspenseful moments when he kept betting it all on red. So we had the moment with the pigeons and the blinking red sign.
That was a cool
great
vehicle that they used. Red stoplight to red casino flasher to betting on red.
So because he's a spiritual person, and because he's down on his luck and he's desperate, we get the idea that he remembered that that the main cop's dad buried money in his backyard, and I guess
for him. Yeah, it says Rev.
Right, and he remembered about
you deserve this.
Maybe he saved him from some.
Well, he wrapped it in the flyer because he believed in what he was doing. He wrapped it in the flyer of. Damning other people for being bad people that were departed.
But I think it was a specific person too. I think
it was like a governor
judge.
Or something, or a judge.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's a backstory there.
So maybe he saved him from something. Who knows? But the point is he took seeing the pigeons repeatedly as a sign, and when the pigeons landed on that roulette table, he recalled that there must have been something special about that table, and then seeing the pigeons on this, he had to stop real sudden at that stoplight, and then it got his attention that there were pigeons on the stoplight. So the pigeons meant something to him, and it seems like there's this animal theme in the series.
Yeah, I was going to say the pigeons are his deer.
The pigeons are his deer, exactly.
Dogs, deer, pigeons. So
right.
There's definitely an animal infusion in these episodes, but we don't know what it is.
And I love that they don't necessarily have to tell us what it is, or if it's even validated. Yeah. If it even is a sign from anything, it could not be.
Right. So he goes and he gets his 20 grand. And he drops 10 on the red on the roulette.
Drops it all 20. He gets 40, wins 80, and then he walks away with 160.
And then you're right along for the whole ride, and you're feeling like
so suspenseful.
And it's so suspenseful. And then that
anxiety starts sitting in. You're like, he's gonna lose it.
I know.
He's gonna lose it.
I know. And then he's walking to the car with it in the dark, and and that's when the asshole knocks on his window, and you're like, this is it!
Right. At Gator72 says, just a thought, when carrying $160,000 in your car, lock the doors!
Yeah.
Which is, like, Joe looked over at me watching the episode in the office, and I was literally like this, because I knew those people that crash this table, we're gonna steal his money.
he's a good guy.
He's just trying to save his church.
And not only that, his
and ruin
wife,
people's reputation.
His wife is paralyzed. She's basically in a vegetative state. You know, she was they were in a car accident during the vanishing or whatever they call it, and she's she needs help. And he's just this really sad, kind of tortured guy. Yeah, he's losing his church.
All he has is the church, and that's
his
the point of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just begging, please.
And you said he's a really good guy. I don't know that I'd agree with that necessarily.
I think he's a desperate guy.
He's a very desperate, tortured guy.
He is desperate, you're right. And he goes to that girl who lost her whole family, and he's kind of being a dick to her.
It's his sister.
Well, that's right.
There's two things that you should be afraid of
That's right.
in end-of-time scenarios. The guy that's lost everything and the guy that has everything to lose.
Yeah.
And he's lost everything, which means
He's
a
desperate.
loose cannon at
He's
this point.
desperate.
And he's desperate to get his religion. Okay, so he wants to save the church. He gets the money. And then...
But he's getting robbed, and you think, great, he's going to die. He's going to get killed, and they're going to steal his money. And all I can think of is, like, if they kill this character, I don't know if I could keep watching this show.
And like I said,
Done.
you took the thing away from the guy that has nothing left to lose.
Yeah.
He finally had $160,000 left to lose.
Well, but also he was nice because he was going to give the guy money, too.
Oh, yeah,
like,
he was scared.
He has a heart
He was
there.
scared.
I mean,
I do think he has very many redeeming qualities.
Yeah,
I think his intentions are good. I think he's desperate enough that that's overcoming
it's not all
his
black
good
and white
intentions.
there.
Yeah, it's not all black and white by any means. He's completely tortured, and his motivations are a lot of times selfish based on what his priorities are.
Yeah, I don't think he's acting in the name of God at this point anymore. He's
probably
acting
not,
in the name of himself and his own happiness.
And
his
what
own
he
sanity.
wants. Yeah, and what he wants.
Which
It's
everybody's
selfish.
doing in this world anyway, so it's not like he's a bad person for doing it.
Right, exactly.
But you can't help but feel bad.
So fast forward, slams the guy's head, gets the money back, gets back to town.
It was a gross scene.
And then you think he's about to save the day, and then he pulls over when one of the, what is the cult called?
The GR, the Guilty Remnant.
Yeah, the Guilty Remnants are on the side of the
and
road.
he was going to help them. He was there to help them.
Sees one of them get hit in the face with a rock, gets out to help him, then he gets hit in the face with a rock, and then you have this weird flashback
You think he's dead or
sequence.
something. You're like, oh my God, he's dead. His cuts
that
are gone.
weird dream.
Yeah,
But
he
it's
has
always
that like
his worries, his fears, his guilts, everything.
it's like his life flashed before his eyes a little bit.
At Not Jack Redmond said, could Reverend Matt have been cheating on his wife with Laurie? From that
I think
dream?
he was just
What do you
coveting
think
his
was that?
neighbor's wife.
He could have been coveting his neighbor's wife a little bit, but yeah, maybe there's some juice there.
Yeah, it's. I agree. It's all of his fears. It's everything. Because then at Alpha Coolio says, so did he actually kill his wife in the fire, or was that simply the dream? I think that was just a dream. He didn't actually kill his wife.
Yeah, I mean, again, he might feel guilty about something, but yeah, and so he wakes up in a hospital bed. He's not dead. It's the second time in the episode you think he might be dead, and you're like, where's the money? And he rips his clothes. He gets his clothes back on. I've got to get to the bank because the guy said if I don't get the money, they're gonna buy the church and I'm gonna lose the church.
Save my church.
Gotta save my church. So he runs. He finds his car. The money's in there still. Big relief. He drives to the bank. It's closed.
They let him in.
Got the money.
Oh, 3 days later. It wasn't the next day. He was out for 3 days in a car.
And so then, okay, Sarah R. at Harris Nicole says, still trying to figure out that look on Reverend Jameson's face when he saw who bought his church.
Yeah, and then you're like, who bought the church?
That's
and
the
then
ironic part about him getting out of the car to save the guys hit in the face.
Is it ironic, or was it all planned by the Guilty Remnant?
Could have been.
Did they stage that whole thing and they were the people throwing the rocks? It's not the first.
I don't know, they've been watching him the whole episode.
And it's not the first time the Guilty Remnant has, like, they're not afraid to get hurt for their own purposes, to further their cause.
I mean, and look, at the end of the day, what we have in this show and this series is the Guilty Remnant is growing. They're establishing more of a presence. They've got a church now, which is like, who knows what they're going to do in there.
They've yet to specifically do something dangerous, but they have a very dangerous feel about them.
Yeah,
it's like a powder keg that's about to explode.
They're not afraid for things to get violent.
No, they're not. And I can't help but draw some parallels between true life religion and this fictionalized cult, in the sense that it is kind of scary. There are some scary cult-like religions out there that seem intimidating and scary. And what are their motives? And the extremists and the fundamentalists are always scary. But this church growing, it kind of seems scary, or this cult growing, this religion, whatever it is, growing, kind of seems scary and intimidating.
We're riding side saddle with all these characters that are living in a world where something that they don't understand is gaining power.
Right.
So that's going to be scary to them, and as the viewers who we're sitting with on this ride, it's going to be frightening to us because we don't know what they want either.
Right. And they kind of give zero fucks about being hurt and bullied and beat up, and their motives are still, their complete motives are still slightly unclear. But we do know, we do know they want to grow and grow and grow and recruit.
Go ahead.
When Lori was hanging out outside her house on that swing and was like, please don't tell them I was here, that was such a telling moment for me about the guilty remnant, because up until then she was just like, no, you're not welcome here, to her husband. I don't want to talk to you.
Right, like the zero fucks were there.
You know she misses him if she's just hanging out outside the house.
She's going to be the door into that world for us. So
I agree.
What we got at the end of the day with this episode that focused just on Eccleston, which, by the way, man,
He's so good.
God, it just made me want, like, it's sad Eccleston, which makes me sad. Like,
I know,
want to
and
see
it's
a happy
old
Doctor
one
Who
too.
Eccleston. But what we have at the end of the day is the last bit of the episode is a death stare. Matt Jamison staring down the lady that just took his church. You can tell there's going to be some friction there, which is crazy cool. But like I said, and why I want a lot of these future episodes to be about these single characters and kind of their journey, because I don't feel like it was all backstory, is I feel like I know more about relationships because of this one story.
Because we got to learn actually what was going on in his head, where the other people we don't still.
We know his sister was the lady that lost the husband and the kids. We also found out that her husband was cheating on her behind her back.
Which was such a shitty thing for him to say.
Selfish.
Oh, yeah.
Selfish.
You're right. You're right. It was selfish.
We learned that he might have something for the sheriff's wife, which is a crazy little thing right there. We learned that him and the sheriff's dad had a relationship back in the day.
Yeah, they were pals.
And him and his sister watched their parents burn in a house.
And they shared crazy together, or a correct conspiracy theory.
Or maybe not.
Like, so we don't know.
Yeah, so just to put a little button on it, this episode was called Two Boats and a Helicopter, which everyone's kind of like, huh? But it's that old parable. Here, wait, let's see. Marcus Washington
so I'm about to get my
at M-Dub Swagdad says, what's the deal with the episode names? I've yet to see a helicopter, two boats, or any goddamn penguins. To be very concise about it, it's essentially this guy is stranded and he said a boat comes to rescue him and he says, no, I'm praying for God, God's gonna save me. Another boat comes, he dismisses it. A helicopter comes to save him, he dismisses it. So he finally dies stranded on this island and goes to heaven. And when he talks to God, he was like, I was waiting for you to save me. What happened? He's like, I sent two boats and a helicopter.
Okay.
So
I gave you chances to, and then you didn't take them. So, well, interesting.
So what were his chances in the episode? What were? Was it even about him?
That's the question.
I don't know. That's and I love.
He's kind of stranded alone in his faith.
Exactly, and in his position with how he feels about everything, and with his wife helpless, and so
there was a boat. The boat. I want to go into this real quick. First boat. Maybe it wasn't the first, but one of the boats was his sister saying, I will save it.
Yeah.
I will save it.
But you have to stop doing the flyers.
You have to stop what you're doing.
And he didn't take it.
And he let it go. Ooh, what's the second boat?
The second one was the money at the table, but then
I don't know, smashing that dude's face in had to have some negative karma.
Maybe.
Boats and helicopters, whatever.
And boats and hosts. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Real talk here. This could potentially be the final episode of this Leftovers TV show because it's really not that popular.
This show might be too niche for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's HBO, and maybe everyone's canceled because Game of Thrones is over, so no one's watching HBO right now. Or maybe, it's just not cool. It's definitely not as cool as Game of Thrones. But regardless, if you guys want the show to continue, the only way to do it is to share the fuck out of this video in some capacity. Share it with your friends, email it to your parents, people who watch the show, people who you think might enjoy the show.
Watch it again.
And look, if it's not hitting with you guys, which we totally understand that happens sometimes, in the comments down below, let us know what shows you would rather us watch, because we want to keep this TV show thing going. It's really fun for us, and we like the dialogue. We like you guys participating on Twitter and stuff. So let's find a show that we want to watch
more importantly, we love to nerd out about things we love. So please let us know. Stick around, like and subscribe, all that cool stuff. I'm Steve Zaragoza.
I'm Trisha Hirschberger.
I'm Joe Beretta, and also in the comments down below, when you're done telling us what other shows, if you want us to watch a show, let us know your conspiracy theories that you got.
Yeah, and what's the second boat and the helicopter for him?
What were the chances out?